And hi. Today I'm going to go over some turning over, what I call winter turning over, in a garden bed that you've seen before. It's had the carrots and the silver beet in it. So there's about quite a few weeks left of winter. Now I want to prep this bed ready for spring. Once spring comes around, the sun's a bit higher, there's more of it. Today's the first sunny day we've had for ages. As I've said in other videos, it's been really overcast lately, so a lot of things, the potential growth hasn't really been there. They've just kind of been plateauing along and growing really minimally, so it's been pretty average. So this garden bed, I'm actually going to turn it over and get it ready, leave it for a few weeks, and then in spring I'll replant stuff. So this is just the process of what I go through when I do what I call a turnover, or winter turnover if you like. So you can see we've still got all the silver beet here that hasn't done really well. I've had about 3 or 4 crops from it, which has been quite good, and I'll still eat all of this, but it has to go. So first thing we need to do is pull all this out. So I'll just pile it up here. Now you don't worry about being really gentle with it or anything, because you'll take it, or I'll take it, inside and turn it over anyway. I'll cut all the roots off and wash it, and stuff like that. So that's all fine. So the main thing we want to do is get rid of it, pull it all out. The soil's done a good job, but because we've had a lot of leafy green stuff in here, I've had lettuce and this silver beet and the carrots and other things, the soil itself is probably fairly depleted, especially as far as nitrogen goes. So you really need to add things like that back in, which is, in my opinion, one of the main problems with major fruit and vegetable production. They kind of can rely, look at that, they can rely on a lot of like phosphates and other nitrogens and stuff like that, because there's really no rest period, because it's such a high yielding area, and they really need to be, and it is a business, so they really need to be turning over pretty much all year round, so they don't have the luxury of crop rotation or being able to give things a rest. Right, so that's all that out, right? So this is the actual area that I'm going to leave, and in spring I'll put some stuff back in here. I don't know what yet, I haven't decided, but I've got a while before I do anything in there, so okay. Next thing I'm going to do, now a fork is a good idea for doing this, but I can't find mine, so I'm using my shovel. Just give it a quick turn over, just a quick one. If you're digging through and you find any major root systems still, pull them out. You can chuck them in your compost. Now, hence the term turning over, I guess. That's what we're actually doing. Another good idea for using a fork is if you've got a lot of worms in your garden bed, the shovel can actually cut them all in half. So the fork's a little bit more friendly. Right. Now, I've got pea straw here, which is a really good source of nitrogen. Now, what I've kind of cunningly done, I left a pile of this in my sheep's paddock. They ate a bit, which is fine. The rest of it they just slept on and turned over, and they did their business in it and all that kind of stuff, and it broke down over a few weeks. So I've got a nice broken down mix of pea straw and sheep manure. So they did the work for me on that. Now just give that a rough spread around. You can use pea straw, you can use lucerne. Your garden compost, if you've got a compost pile at home, as long as it's really well broken down. That'll be fine. Alright, now I'm just going to add some lime. Now I've got dolomite lime in here, which is a good source of magnesium as well. And I've also got some of the organic fertiliser that I've been using too, just to give it a little bit of kick. That's heaps. Like one kind of rough cupped handful would be an ample for this sized area. Alright. Now, again, we just want to mix all that together. So we just turn it over. And that's basically it. Alright. It's like anything, I guess. You kind of can have a certain amount of energy in the soil, which can give itself to growing vegetables and stuff, but obviously it gets depleted, so you've got to kind of put that back in. Now all I'm going to do now is just flatten it out so it's just a bit even. You'll get bits and pieces here and there, don't worry, that'll break down. And I'll turn this over again in about 2 weeks. Just so I can keep that kind of the anaerobic breaking down process going. And it'll rain on it obviously and what have you, so it's a rock. Alright, that'll pretty much do. Make sure you get right into the corners. You know, break up any bigger bits of dirt that you find. Alright, that'll do. I keep saying that, don't I? Alright. Cool. And I'll turn, like I said, I'll turn this over again in a couple of weeks. And then I'll probably do it again in a couple of weeks after that. So it'll be there like this for at least a month. So it's going to get a nice rest. All of the nitrogen and everything will get absorbed back into the soil. By the time spring comes around, it should be nice and like kind of bursting with that energy again to do its work. Cool. So I kind of try and do this at least twice a year. So after the spring stuff's grown and some of the summer stuff, I'll turn it over again, and then I'll put in the autumn and winter stuff. So that's basically it. Alright, I'm a bit out of breath. Nice and easy. Any questions, just give me a yell, alright? But that whole kind of, just remember with your gardens, and even pots, if you grow stuff in pots, don't forget, like, there's only X amount of nutrients and minerals in that pot and that soil that's actually there for the plant to utilise. So you've got to replenish it. Alright, so even if you grow things in pots, every once in a while, tip the empty pot out into a wheelbarrow, add some manure or pea straw, bit of lime, something, you know, get some nitrogen back in there and repot it, and then you can grow from there. Otherwise, if you keep growing in it, the plants won't have anything to grow in. They're lacking those nutrients, and you'll just get diminished crops over time. Cool. Alright, any questions, same as always, just give me a yell, alright? Cool, thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.